Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do today is go through a book, and the book that I've selected for today's episode is entitled How to Begin. Start doing something that matters. A book that was authored by a fellow who goes by the name of Michael Hyatt. This book focuses on overcoming procrastination and taking action on meaningful goals. So let's step through the key messages and see where it leads us, what we can learn, and what we can incorporate into our inventory of skills, knowledge, and perpetual wisdom. So the first key message to come from this book is where the author reminds us that the most powerful thing for us is clarity. And the beautiful thing about clarity is that clarity provides a catalyst for action. You can't begin if you don't know what you want to begin. It's as simple as that. So defining your goals clearly, accurately, and unambiguously can help give you the specificity that you need in order to take that first step. When it's all said and done, according to this author, vague aspirations lead to vague actions, or more appropriately, lead to inaction. The author also addresses the key point of fear, but he reminds us, and he makes a very powerful point, that fear is absolutely normal, and don't let it in any way, shape or form intimidate you or to cause you any form of paralysis. Everyone experiences fear when facing something new, different or challenging. Acknowledging the fear is important, but don't let it dictate or define your decisions or your inaction is the key message. Because at the end of the day, courage isn't the absence of fear, but taking action despite the fear that you may be experiencing. The author moves on to talk about the power of small steps and makes a bold prediction. And that prediction is that small steps invariably lead to big results. Overwhelm is a common cause of inaction. Feeling overwhelmed will most certainly get you to do nothing. But in order to create and leverage that overwhelming feeling, the author advises that one breaks down the large goal into smaller and more manageable tasks. As we know, even an elephant can be eaten as long as you take small, manageable bites at a time and chew like crazy. So what the author here reminds us of is that we need to focus on the next small step and to get started and to get going, and not to worry too much about the entire journey. You'll figure it out step by step, and as you get closer to the next phase, you'll make the decision that is appropriate for that stage. Because at the end of the day, also, another key point that comes from this book is that momentum is your friend. Starting is often the hardest thing. Once you gain momentum, once you take that first step, it becomes easier and easier to keep going. Every path has a number of potholes or speed humps along the way, and if you haven't got the right amount of speed or momentum to get over or through those humps and potholes, then you're going to get bogged down, or you're going to actually stop and roll back. And when you roll back and stop, chances are you're going to reevaluate what you're doing, and most people at that point absolutely give up and do nothing. So what you need is that momentum, because once you've got that momentum and you're on the move, it becomes easier to maintain momentum and to keep going. One small trick that the author reminds us of here is that people need to celebrate small wins and use them for fuel to help propel and to further one's progress. The author also deals at length about perfectionism, and he also suggests that perfectionism can potentially be the enemy of progress. Perfectionists don't get very far in life because they spend too much time worrying and thinking about what's going on and what they're doing. So the key message from this author is for you to not wait for everything to be perfect before you begin, and to embrace imperfection and be willing to learn and adapt along the way, fine-tuning what you're doing so that you can leverage on where you're up to and gain valuable lessons along the way. Done is better than perfect. Doing something, doing anything is more important than doing it right. Accountability, according to this author, helps keep you on track. So one of the messages from this book is to share your goals and your dreams with someone, not everybody, with someone who will hold you accountable. This could be a friend, a family member, a mentor, or even an online community. And you need to understand that consistency trumps intensity. Small, consistent actions over time are far more important and are far more effective than sporadic bursts of effort. Even a regular routine and sticking to it is better than trying to do it all at once. Even doing things, small things on a regular basis, even when you don't feel like it, is key. The other message that the author talks about at length is to embrace discomfort, because growth, when it's all said and done, only happens outside your comfort zone. It just makes sense. Be willing to step outside of what is familiar and actually challenge yourself on a regular and a consistent basis. And focusing on progress is more important, according to this author, than focusing on the outcome. You can spend some time thinking about the outcome, but you've got to focus on making progress and making steps count, enjoying the journey of working towards your goals, focusing on daily actions that you can control rather than fixating solely on the end result, which may be too far in the distance to give you the right amount of motivation. And the last key point to come from this author is where you're encouraged to celebrate your progress. Acknowledge and reward yourself for your accomplishments, no matter how small they are, because as we mentioned before, this can be the fuel to help keep you propelling in the right direction, because celebration and acknowledgement and the rewards that come with it reinforces positive behaviour and keeps you motivated to continue moving in the direction that's going to hopefully get you where you want to be with the results that you want to achieve. Take care everybody, yasas, and bye for now.